we started first semester of first year for me and a bunch of friends heard about the Dr. Christian Jacobs Lab, and I think it interested all of us because we were just trying to explore different avenues of our degree and see sort of what is an real world applicable experience for us. We came up to the lab, and I think that was the first time I'd ever seen a lot of the people in Dr. Jacobs' lab demo, and I just found it really fascinating to experience VR. That was one of the first times I had real exposure to VR software and programs, and I think with all of my colleagues it was super interesting to see sort of the different applications of sort of our stream. So that was sort of what first intrigued me to come into the lab. And I think what really roped me into doing the summer project was when we had the Kid Sim offer for all the projects associated with the Children's Hospital. And once I was sort of seeing the medicine aspect being tied into it, I was super engaged with all of those projects as well. That's what brought me in here, and I think that's what ultimately got me working in this lab. So originally I was working with Andrew on the intubation project through the KidSim lab, but then I sort of toggled off of that and I started working on the full Lindsay Body Universe project, which was more directly under Christian Jacobs' supervision. And I think sort of what was most interesting for me was, or the biggest Eureka moment for me was, I would say that my biggest Eureka moment throughout the entire summer experience was being able to get Ryan's old summer project working in VR, because combining all of the projects was sort of a daunting task at first when Dr. Jacob explained to me how everything was going to be working and sort of what my task was to combine all of our past projects and sort of integrate them smoothly. I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to do, and then I think when I first got Ryan's project in and everything started to fall into place and you could load into his project and navigate around, that's when I sort of, the whole idea of what this project really was set in for me, and I was like, okay, I know I finally have a bit of a direction, and I finally sort of, I've got a path set out for me. Because I think in the beginning I really struggled with not knowing where to go and what to do. And that's sometimes the most defeating feeling, is not knowing what you have to do. But finally, sort of finding my path was super valuable, and I'm really happy. That was probably the biggest accomplishment, was getting a good direction. I definitely am planning at some point in the future, although I don't know when, to come back and continue working in the lab and sort of further develop the project. Hopefully getting it to a state where everyone that comes into the lab, if they do contribute in one way or another, will be able to build off of this foundation that I've created. So that, in terms of future work, that's sort of the direction I'm heading. I think the most valuable thing that I've brought from this and what I'm going to carry with me is this line of work, this sort of integrating like simulations and building stuff. That's definitely the stream of bioinformatics which I tend to gravitate towards the most. Bioinformatics is full of genetics and data sequencing and managing, and there's all these different avenues that you can explore. But I think what really captures my interest is simulations and sort of having an artistic influence in what you do. And I think that was great for this project because I had a lot of creative power as well, and I got to rope that in with some sort of educational aspects and some foundational learning principles. And that's really what I enjoyed the most, is merging those two worlds, because I always wanted to sort of explore my creative side, but then I think I'm just sort of naturally. So I think what is really appealing for me is the fact that I can sort of merge the two worlds of academics and sort of challenge myself artistically, and having those two worlds collide allows me to sort of take the best of both. I don't really want, I didn't want to, coming into this program, to be locked into one or the other, and I think bioinformatics was good for me because I like to sort of sample everything. I don't want to sort of lock myself down. So this line of work is exactly what I was looking for, and I think it definitely challenges me, but then it also it also gives me a lot of freedom, so it's really rewarding. As a bioinformatics student, obviously computer science plays a very big part in my life, and I wouldn't be in this degree if I didn't absolutely love it, right? And I think especially what I enjoyed doing, like working in this lab, that computer science plays a really big role in my career and in academia for me being a bioinformatics student. And I think that what I took most away from this lab was sort of the direction that VR and AR is heading. And I'm really happy to see a big development in there because it wasn't something that I had a lot of exposure to beforehand. And now that I'm new and exposed to this field, watching it grow and sort of growing with it, I mean, like your parents always talked about how they grew up and like sort of new technologies grew with them. And I really feel like for my generation, VR and AR is going to be one of those big ones that I get to sort of grow and see grow with me. And I'm really excited because you don't know how it's going to turn out, right? So I'm really excited to see where this technology takes us and how this develops.